Good morning, this is Brian Witten and ET Art. Sorry if I sound a little bit nasally at the moment, but I must have a little bit of a cold. I noticed that yesterday when I was replaying one of these videos. I've sort of had to come back and redo this one because the video I'd actually posted, or at least put up in the first instance, was just not good enough. So what I've come back and I thought, well, I'll put this video up and put it in widescreen mode and see if I can't give you a little better, slightly better vision of it. This is the one I put at the end of the other video called Wow. That part there you see me go up and down with the light, it's only just me varying the brightness of the microscope. And then when you see me do this, this is when I've turned the microscope light off. And I've just moved the camp light around from the side. And like I said, it is in the movement of the light from the side that all these visions and messages left us on all these rocks are in actual fact exposed, because you cannot see them. Just before I go on, I'll get you just to watch this part. When we go away from these UFO scenes, you will see a nice big volcano scene come up in here as well. It's really quite spectacular. Like I said, I wasn't happy with the last video I did, but I hadn't paid enough respect to the people that have left this message here, this one that you're looking at now. And some of the other ones we've looked at on these rocks, moving the light around, is absolutely amazing. They are almost unbelievable, to the point if somebody told you, as I have a neighbour, like I said, I've mentioned him before, that if I show him these things, and he's just amazed, he is astounded, as equally astounded as I am. The imagery that is on the rocks is magnificent. It is really, really, really quite an unbelievable thing, and to have discovered such a thing, well, I'll be honest, it's more like it was just put there in front of me and said, Brian, have a look at this. So that's why I wanted to redo this start of this video. I'm in a situation now where I've gotten to a point of learning and understanding from the messages left us by the people that you're seeing left this message on this rock. The very same people that left this message on this rock. They left the pyramids here for us. They left the Sacsayhuaman walls in Peru for us. There is a multitude of megaliths, both of natural form, modern form, in forms and structures left all over the planet, built in a multitude of different designs by a people that left a message here about the destruction of 2 previous civilizations on our planet. That's pretty much the message they've left here, that they've had to come back twice, and that twice they have put the planet on an unnatural cycle around the sun, and having done so, destroyed a civilization that was not acting properly. This is in their message, this is the message they've left us, because there was no need to spin it around the sun unless you're going to get rid of a civilization and let another one develop with a crooked axis and summer, winter, spring and fall, obviously. Because before the tilted axis happens, you haven't got such things. We have a straight axis, and wherever you live on it, you have a very stable climate. In respect to where you stand, you have what you have. That's the reality of a straight axis. But one of the other realities of a straight axis, of the message that's been left us by these people that have left this message in such an unbelievable fashion, it is absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, you look at this and you think, well, you know, the people that left this message here have left a message that they have destroyed 2 previous civilizations, but in having said so, they have left us many, many, many other messages that say as much as they have destroyed mankind on those 2 occasions because of the behaviour of the leaders, I wouldn't say that they obviously didn't destroy all of mankind, or I wouldn't be here making the videos, nor would any of these messages exist. To understand the reasoning why the messages are here like this, in their billions and billions of rocks all over the world, I would expect, I thought this might have been only the east coast of Australia, but I doubt it. I would expect rocks to show these types of imagery be all around the world, showing us a message that they have maintained this planet. And their message of maintenance of the planet and continued maintenance has been left here as well. So what we're going to do today is going to go over a few bits and pieces that have been left on the planet in both megalithic structures, well, not so much megalithic structures today, it's some of the motifs and reliefs, carvings if you will, in actual fact, that are found at a couple of different places. We're going to discuss not this rock, but the other rock that I put up at the end of the last video had on it some marks. So we'll have a look at those marks and we'll move from there. But one of the things I did want to say before I moved on then is that the people that have left this message for us, in actual fact, from what I've been able to see from the messages left us, is that them coming back to install this device, as we've spoken of in our last video. This is a 4-part series, so I strongly suggest you go back and look at least the other 3 of these civilization destruction videos to understand what's going down. But certainly you'd need to go back to Pyramid Decoded, and you've got quite a few hours of video to catch up on. The people that left this message for us in their maintenance, long-term maintenance of the planet and our human race, is actually written. And I want to show you that I've got another highlighter come up on a rock. That's the other reason why I had to get up so early in the morning. It's actually 4 AM and I got up just so I can get my lounge room in the dark. And it just makes this imagery, when I replay it like this, just that little bit better, so that you can see some of the imagery come up on it. Because when you slide a little rock like this to the side and you see what comes up in this little portion here, in this city, and the way this comes up, and like I said, it is absolutely amazing when you get the imagery correct. The vision is spectacular, absolutely spectacular. And to think it's on a rock, and it's just, it's our history. It's the demise of the last civilization is shown right here. It shows people in a civilization living near water, and 2 comets on the way down to, and this is where we are getting told there are 2 civilizations that we've had on the planet. They are saying there is twice before there have been people advanced as us, with cities, lights, streets and what on, and that is their message to us, not anybody else telling me. So I can assure you, I'm a point in my life where the only people I'm believing is the people that have left this message here, quite frankly. And I think the message has been left here, placed in front of me, and as strange as it may sound, they're coming back to do this job of the installation of Atlantis, if you want to call it that. That's exactly what has to be done. If we don't have it done, all our cities will be washed away with the waves. And I said, and probably frightened you somewhat, and frightened myself to a degree, in the discovery, yet again, albeit I thought it was going to be a good thing, had left me thinking, well, they're going to come back and the waves are going to kill us all. And I didn't see us having the technology. But just, I'll be honest with you, I'd have more even if we did have the technology, I would be more inclined to think our leaders would just let the waves kill us all, to be quite frank. That's my opinion. And they would say nothing, which is why you're not hearing anything of the discoveries that I've put before you in these videos on TV, which is a really, really sad thing, so. But anyway, we'll move on, and like I said, one thing I have noticed, the message left us, I believe, 100% by the people that left it here. I have no doubt. Their long-term maintenance of our planet, and the message of that has been left here, so I'll show you where that message has been left. And there has been a message left of their return to install the device, and it is set in stone. So when something's set in stone, I normally read that as it's going to happen, okay? And when they put a message and it's set in stone, what they are leaving and the message they are leaving is the way it's going to be. And that's the one thing I do know from having the message way they leave it. But they will also not just say, okay, well this is the way it's going to be, that's it. You can bet your life they would have negotiated with our leaders at some point, or may yet to do so. I do not know whether that's taken place. It wouldn't surprise me if they haven't, you know. They have not done what is necessary. Maybe they have, but like I said, we'll move on and we'll go and discuss these other things. Now what we'll do is go and have a look at the message that was left us, set in stone, by people that have maintained our planet for many, many thousands of years, and they have installed the mythical thing that we call Atlantis. Now I just wanted to bring this Egyptian parchment up. We have put this in another video and discussed it. There's one aspect of it that I want to discuss with you. There are some of you that would think this is a damaged parchment. I, like the last message we just saw, message on the rock, without moving the rock, has a message of UFOs flying up a valley, looking and seeking things. And we move the light and we get another message of a huge volcano and an erupting volcano, which is really quite clear and quite spectacular. But what I'm saying is we're getting two messages left in the same place. This is over and over and over again in their message. The message they want you to have is hidden there. It's in full sight, but you don't see the message unless you know what you're looking for. This parchment is one of those messages. It's been left here to tell us a hell of a lot more than it looks. There are 48 of these men sitting on these chairs on this image, if you count them all that are left there. The event and the destruction of the last civilization took 48 minutes. That is written into the cross-section of the pyramid, how long it took to destroy the planet and clean it off as such. And I said that the first comet to hit was the centre one, the one in Australia. There were 3 comets on our way. The little one that landed in Australia was the centre one. The next one to hit was southern one, which is the one that tilted the globe, which is this one. The movement of the axis recorded here. The second one to hit was the small one, to stop the tilt of the axis, which is this one here. By seeing the comets and the sequence they hit the planet, out of the top here we are seeing the 6,000 years taken because we're removing 6 of these columns here and going back. And we were knocked on the unnatural cycle by being knocked down and coming back up. And then when we come back up we go in this direction around the sun, which is the way we are going. We are heading now, coming up to this point. We have, and the question that we're asking and answering in this video is whether they are coming back. And I said they are definitely coming back, and I will show you where. In this instance we are not seeing the coming back, we are seeing what put us on the unnatural cycle, the comets and the way they hit, or asteroids, the way they hit the planet, and it has been put on this unnatural cycle by the people that steered the comets at the planet, or so on. So this is what we're at. This happened at the point in time on this parchment right there. That's where they've come along and said, okay, well listen, we've been trying to negotiate with you guys. We have told you to stop doing these unspeakable things to your fellow humans, but you have not listened. So we've taken off the planet the things we wanted to keep, and we have killed everything left on it. Driven the planet in its cycle, then come back to here. This is where we are now. I'm just using, like I said, I'm a computer engineer. I use logic, understanding. In this instance, from the very beginning of seeing the very first rock that got me to go to the pyramid, I will use the same logic and understanding. To me, in a matter of thinking, if you maintain our planet and have done for many, many, many thousands of years, if you're going to send the planet down and around in an unnatural cycle because of the behaviour of people here, and that you have left a message set in stone that you're going to come back here, put in a device that stops these tidal waves that are drawn by the sun's gravity, not the moon, because when we come back up off this unnatural cycle, right there is where the sun takes over the tides again, and they have to come back and put this device in, or our civilization gets swept away. The people that caused us to get sent down here are the very same people that are running our show right now, once we were coming back up here. They're the very same people, and they're hiding the very same thing. I would expect that if you're going to send a planet around on an unnatural cycle, and you have said, set in stone, that you're going to come back here, well, I'm only using logic here. They've set it in stone, they're coming back. I would expect that you are not going to leave the same people on the planet at this point, are you? That you dismissed the entire civilization and smashed the entire planet here. It's just when you get back here, at the point in time when they maintain the planet the way they have, for as long as they have, they're hardly going to leave the people on the planet that drove the planet around its unnatural cycle for 6,000 years and come back here and leave them here, are you? Is that sensible? Is that not a common sense? Is that not a logical thing to think? If they're not going to come back here and make sure the people that are here, that have been the very cause of the planet, and they're not going to come back here and take care of them, why the hell is this thing here? Why the hell are the pyramids here? Why is the Serapeum here? Why are the rocks messages on billions and billions of rocks? You know why? Because they're coming back here, and I've said before, they're taking the people that were the cause of the planet going sent down here. They will not be round here, I can assure you now. They will be gone. Now, I've just brought that other video up of the rock we discussed in the last video about a message left here about them coming back. And the number 17 coming out on that rock right there, where we had the Roman numeral 4 at one point. Now, the amazing part of the imagery here is it was these additional lines here that had come on this rock, one there and one there, that I'd noticed when I went to look at this and saw 17 there. I thought, well, that's odd. I hadn't seen that there before, and like I said, we've discussed that this rock seems to be able to, as strange as it sounds, put messages there and take them away in lines and seem to make them disappear or do whatever. You can see right there, that's where those UFOs coming out, you can see them just there. And they're coming out there at the end of these exhaust plumes coming up here. You see this little thing here coming to a little space station with UFOs landed on it. Here we see the representation of a UFO dropping these devices and making a cross like we have to have across the ocean to suppress the tides. The cross would cross the Pacific Ocean, which is the biggest amount of water, to suppress the tides. They're telling us in this here exactly what they're going to do. And like I said, it's set in a little stone, but it's also set in a big stone, and I'll go back to a big stone in a minute. The other reason I put this up is I want you to watch this here carefully, just that bit of shadow there. What you're seeing is a highlighter there. It comes out very bright, and you're seeing a triangular shape here with a landmass just here. Okay, now I know it's not real good in here, and I've thought about putting that back under, but I thought, oh no, it's probably good enough for what I want to show you, because we're looking at South America in that shape there. This is the same rock that's got Australia on it, but what I'm seeing here, I have actually seen very, very clear motifs of this, where you have the creation, as we're told by our teachers in our schools. Our history is not very true. And known fact is that what I'm showing you to this point is known by people on our planet. A lot of leaders know our planet is definitely on an unnatural cycle. Here, about there, see that? You're seeing the bottom of India there, and Sri Lanka off the side. What happened was actually, and see these two rocks come in here? Two bright spots there? I'll just make sure you can see that on the screen. Yeah, those two bright spots there are how the Indian continent was created, by two comets coming flying up there. It's how the Himalayas were created. We do not have continental drift. We suffer from continental push from very, very big asteroids. The one that actually created the Himalayas measures, you can measure it on Google Earth, on the ocean floor, is about 1,200 kilometres wide. The purpose of coming back here though was to just to let you know that they are building it here. They're building it. These things are individual pieces that come down, and that makes sense that they would be an individual piece, because if it was one long length and it broke, you've got tidal waves that day. I just wanted to show you, this is phenomenal travel videos, and the guy that does this is named Praveen. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me showing you this and pointing you out to his work as well, although I'm not 100% in agreement in what he says this is. But this device here, I just wanted to show you his work, right? Praveen Mohan, you know when I'm talking to you, it's his work, and it's just this thing here that we're going to go and look at, right? So we call what this is called here as the Tirumala Jain complex here, right? Now what we're going to do is put the name of that in Google Earth, and we'll go and do a search for it, okay? So I'll copy and paste that, and we'll get it ready and we'll zoom in. Now I've just put the name of that complex up here in my search parameters, and I will hit search, and we'll see whereabouts on the globe that device sits, and we'll watch where it goes. And the temple, oh look at it, look at it, oh, it's gone to India, right where it said to go on my rock. Amazing. Exactly where it is, right there is exactly where that silver bit comes up on my rock in India. Exactly there. Now let's go and have a look at that. We'll see what it does. Now I've left Praveen's head in here. I'm sure you won't mind, Praveen, honestly. I need to make this video real quick. What we're seeing here, in my opinion, when we look at this video and the whole process of this video, prove to you whether or not, number one, the device that we know about, which is, we get told mythically that it is Atlantis, and that we have a cross across our Pacific Ocean that has to stop the tidal waves and a ring around our equator. What are we seeing here? We're seeing here a record of how many times that device has had to be put on our planet to stop the very process happening when we have a flat tide. We also, on the very same image, which is if I go out, this is actually like a UFO that's sort of in the side of a wall. Praveen thinks it's a UFO. I'm not of the same belief. What I wanted to, I'm going to bring that up a little bit higher here, so you can see here. We have a half circle with a circle in it. Here, a half circle with a circle in it. How many times did the Serapeum say that our planet has been put on an unnatural cycle around the sun? In other words, that, a half loop cycle, 6,000 years. Twice it says it's happened, and 4 times they have had to put this device on our planet, and it stops the tides or the sun bringing tidal waves to every shore of every land. Now that's a still image there just of those 2 cycles, so it's told you there and there. We have had 1 half cycle and another half cycle. That is exactly what the Serapeum says, and we are coming up to complete a cycle. Now I've just got the Serapeum image open again. This is what we're seeing here. This is the completed one. This is the one we're on, where we got knocked down and we're coming back up to the plane of the sun. 2 cycles, 1 complete, 1 incomplete. That is the one we are about to complete, which drives tidal waves all over the world. Now I've just brought you back to the temple in India to show you the device on the wall and explain to you in greater detail how I believe this works, because it is extremely important, and I would say that it is telling us about the history of mankind on the planet. I don't, and nor can I see the rest of this image to be as accurate with how long that's been, but I want to show you here that what I believe we're seeing is a representation, and therefore timing and pulse shifts required or obtained, as well as the time frame that the devices, the harmonic devices, are kept on the oceans to steady them. We don't need to know the thousands of years in the rotation, but it does tell us here as well, and that way we can also work out the colour code we see here, because in electronics we have colour code where we have, you know, blue will be one colour, brown will be another colour, black will be another colour, and for each colour value changes. So this will be a number, that'll be another number, and we have red out here as well. So I think we're actually seeing here another colour in here, which is a darker blue. And we are seeing, in my opinion here, the Seraphim shows us one where we are thrust, the planet itself is thrust up and over the top of the sun. Not the planet, but the plane of the plane the planet's on. So instead of us in our occasion, we're going down and around the bottom, the plane of the sun in the first event is shown going up. And that's exactly what we're seeing here with an arrow coming in here. So this first upward event from here is telling us to start here. And we have got 6,000 years here with this device in place. Okay, which is the device, it's harmony device, one that relates to clamping the oceans and stopping the sun from creating the tidal waves. And then we go on an upwards loop when it's knocked up. It goes up and over the plane of the sun in this event and back down again, where another one gets installed. Okay, now when we go up, as we've already studied, we have pole shifts occurring when we cross at the bottom, in our instance, and when we came back. There were 3 pole shifts. When we get chucked out, there is no pole shift in the event we get pushed out here, because it's not a natural cycle. It is put on the planet and very, very precisely and accurately measured to get the planet to be able to do this loop like this. And it doesn't change, the axis does not change in this loop. We learnt that from our loop. But what we're seeing here, so we're seeing a pole change here when we get to the band at the bottom, which is the lateral, or there's the gravitational band of the sun that way, and that one. This one here appears to me to be a lot wider than the one going that way. So we'll say the vertical plane or magnetic plane of the sun appears to me to be about, well, a lot wider. It takes us 1,000 years to go between that pole shift and that pole shift there. What I wanted you to note though is we're crossing a band of brown, and a band of black when we go across there. And I see that what we're seeing here is a count where the brown is 4 minus 2 plus 4 is 6. We are going, when we leave, 1 0, 2 zeros, 3 zeros. 6 with 3 zeros. 6,000 years. So we're seeing a record there of that. If we take a note of this one in here, we are seeing another pole shift event get recorded here. But the pole shift event that gets recorded in that one does not reflective of the rotation of this cycle. This pole shift event here is being created by something beyond the planet. Okay, and I would expect this is Nibiru's entry into our, where it goes up and rotates around Jupiter. And that is why we get this brown line here. notice that we've already cited and said that the brown line, when we crossed it here, was 4. So therefore it is 4 here. And there, this was 2. Okay, so we know when we're going out here how long this is here. Because we left here, we've got 4 here, we've crossed here, so we've taken 2 off again. So you don't cross another colour band here and maybe brown here. Like I said, this might be Nibiru's cycle around and how often we pick it up. So like I said, I can't see the whole lot of this. But what I wanted you to note though is when we come back in line here again, right, so this is the end of the upward cycle of 6,000 years. They come back, they install this, and then we come back this way for so many thousand years with this device in place again, and we hit this ring, and it's how we get from here to here and down this way, right? So I can't see the rest of this, and I don't really want to go there in an area where I can't see without a little bit more understanding. But I just wanted you to see that that is what in actual fact you're seeing, and you're seeing recorded pole shifts in that upward motion of the planet, or the plane of the planet up and over the top of the sun, which is recorded at the Serapeum. And I believe there we're actually seeing a record of the pole shifts that also occur at another time, okay, because this is also more like a clock function as well. So at another time, Nibiru, and it takes this length of time for that to occur, and that's how you do it. It's this period of time here has this, so we'll say that's 4, it could be 4,000 years in there, okay, and that's how it works. But without seeing all the rest of it, it's a little bit difficult to make an assessment and be, more accurate. But I'm absolutely certain that's what that does, and it is really, really a very, very historical thing, because like I said, these will be thousands of years here. I'm not saying that this is the beginning of mankind here, but it may very well be. I want to bring your attention to the top quarter of our disc. Now that we've looked at the possibility of the last one that we've just looked at being the first event, which was up and over the top of the sun with the plane of our planet, I want to bring your attention to here where we've got a big thick red line right in the very quarter here. And to me, if I was looking at this and wondering as to what it was depicting, I would think that it was in actual fact the very situation that may have created the very planet itself here. The beginning of our time, or our planet's time, incurring its creation at some point here, through the creation of our solar system, and our very first pole shift being recorded there. I've said that these are times, and there may be many, many multiples of many, many thousands of years in the transition and movement of our planet from this point here back over to this side where I just showed you, along this path, if what I'm saying to you this suggests, as I'm suggesting this in actual fact does. I'm certain that's what this is about. It is an extremely important thing, or artifact, if you want to call it that. It is a dome, it sticks out of the wall, and I think that what we're seeing there is a message left us in the shape of the craft of the people that come here. And as you can see by the age of the thousands and thousands and thousands of years that are depicted on here, in all of these lines here, I'm certainly seeing, to me, what would appear to be an indication that they have maintained our planet, like I said, for many, 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 many thousands of years. Otherwise I would expect it would have been extremely difficult with waves and tidal waves driven by the sun, to life to have even begun in reality, because how does that happen? How does that happen when you have, you just cannot get civilization to begin to the point of, you know, traversing the seas to the point of anything. So, I don't know, I mean, it's been a learning experience, I can tell you that much. That, and this portion of this, I feel absolutely certain this is doing exactly that. This is such an important artifact, a device left here to tell us about the very beginning of our planet, I believe here. It's an amazing thing.
Well, that brings us to the end of this video now, and I really wondered how I would finish such a video, and one that has taken, well, just 6 months to get through a process of learning and coming to understand that somebody else maintained our planet and has done for many, many, many thousands of years. That was something I did not expect to come to the reckoning of, understanding that and understanding everything else that I've learned through the passage of knowledge given me by what would appear to be a rock. This rock here that was given to me by my son. He found it twice. The first time he found it, like I said, he hurled it back in the river, only to it to be at his feet again 3 months later. And that is what has brought us on this journey, or at least me on this journey of understanding to a degree. There are just no words. It's beyond explanation how you can get from that point to this point with an understanding of what is before us here, and how, you know, we may be looking, like I said, at that disc in the temple being, in my opinion, the very depiction of the birth of the planet itself, and that the people that have left the message know of our existence and our planet's existence that long. So if our planet is 4 billion years old, well, the people that left the message on that rock as the one message that's left in the pyramid, and the message that is left in the Serapeum, and all these structures that I have covered in these videos. I do not know or understand why it is come about the way it has. I'm absolutely certain I'm 100% correct in what I'm saying, that the depiction of their return is essential to our, to mankind. The ocean we see here now is flat. I come out here today thinking it was going to be 3 meters high and pumping, but then I guess it's pretty good that it is flat, because in essence the image we see when we go to Western Australia and we look at wave rock, that is what is depicted on the east coast here every morning, driven by the sun. The maintenance the people have, the others, if we call them that, they have maintained our planet here for many, many, many thousands of years, and it's like I said, it's just a reckoning of something I just didn't expect. I am once again lost for words. The beauty that I see in front of me, if I actually sat here and tried to actually truly tell you how beautiful it is, the thing we have, we walk on, we see. Sometimes we don't open our eyes long enough and hard enough to see what is actually before us, Listen, I'll finish up this series of 4 videos now. I know there is a number 17 on a rock. Look, whether it be days, it won't be days. It's been on there for long enough not to be days. It's either months or years, but in reality the months and years is irrelevant. What is there is a message, and yet again a time period where the people in the places where they can make a difference can make a difference, because if they're not going to stand for it, that's just pretty obvious to me. You do not leave any message anywhere if you're intending for these big waves to wash the good people off their houses here. We are looking at a coastline here that from the message I'm being left and the way I'm reading what is there, it's not going to get washed away. They're going to come here and make sure we move on to a higher realm of knowledge and understanding of our history, and that is what I believe we are seeing, and I truly honestly cannot wait for them to ascend through our skies and start building this pipe, because we're all going to die if they don't. So I would also expect the reason why the information has to come out as such, and probably me to bring it forward, is that it had to be quick. So therefore I had to go up without profit. That was never one of those things that entered my mind. It was something of urgency. It needed to be known, and it needed to be known now. So which is why I've acted that way I have. It's just I've had this sense of knowledge of it being important that I had to do what I did. So I've done what I've had to do. I don't know that there's a whole lot more I can do. I hope you've enjoyed my input. I've appreciated being given the knowledge that I've been given by the investigation that I've sort of been pushed along on in times. Like I said, I've almost walked away at times. I'm glad I didn't, because in the end the realisation is that the message I was bringing was a really, really, really good message for mankind. And when I say mankind, good mankind, and even the bad ones are still given enough time to make the right decisions. I'll leave you with that thought. This is Brian Whitten and E.T. Art. Like I said, I've driven out here. I might go and pick up a cup of coffee and go and find another place where I can sit down and really appreciate what I have before me.